The top this morning, breaking news. The street between Nile and McArdle has reopened after the search for a wanted man was called off. Officers along with K-9 units were called out before 2:30 to look for the person. Details extremely limited this morning. We do know guns were drawn as police searched through that neighborhood for someone. We do not know what he is wanted for. Call 361-886-2600 if you have any information that could lead to an arrest.